For today's episode, I want to talk about a recent drowning that happened on my lake. And while it was a paddleboarder, I think it's still pertinent to sailors because really anybody that enjoys water sports faces the same, risks, and a lot of the safety equipment is the same as we do as sailors. And of course, many sailors enjoy water sports in general. So, as far as details, it happened this week. It was a group of 3 paddleboarders and a dog, and the winds picked up and they got hit by what a lot of people out here call a microburst. I usually call them squalls, but an extremely large gust. And out here, we get 40 plus mile an hour gusts. So they all got knocked off of their paddleboards. One was wearing a life vest and actually was able to swim to shore, despite the fact that the water's pretty cold. It's in the 60s. Another was not wearing a life vest, but was tethered to his board. And so he was able to retrieve his board, get back on the board, and was rescued by the State Park Service here on the lake. And then the third person was with his dog. They were both knocked off. The dog had a life vest on. The paddleboarder did not. And of course, with high winds, when you're in the water, things that are sitting on the surface, especially very light things like a paddleboard, they're going to move a lot faster. And so he was not able to get back to his paddleboard, and he drowned. And so they closed the lake at that point and started a search and recovery operation. And about 11:30 at night, divers recovered his body and the dog's. So this is the 10th water recreation related death here in Colorado this year. So it's been a very deadly year. And as far as like sailors, right, a lot of the same things apply, right? We don't want to make our situation worse by not using the right safety gear. So PFDs, tethers, things like that. We also, we need to be cognizant of the weather, right? We need to respect the weather. Check the forecast. Keep your eyes about you. Trust what your eyes are telling you, despite maybe it doesn't match the forecast. But if you start seeing some gnarly weather, you need to respect that. And then, just taking those actions and the preparation that we need to. So as sailors, things like putting in companionway boards, closing up hatches, all that kind of stuff, maybe tethering ourselves, reefing. We need to know how to do hove to, all that kind of stuff. And I did a video a while back, I'll put a link to it at the end, that talked about all that kind of safety type stuff for sailors of small boats. And so definitely, check that out. But, I just felt like it was pertinent to talk about this today. One, as a reminder, because we always need to be thinking about safety, and we don't want to be complacent. And also just, I know a lot of people are getting into the sport. I know a lot of people have been in the sport a long time and maybe are complacent. Don't wear PFDs every time they go out like I do. And then, some people maybe are thinking about getting in the sport but are nervous about it. And so, it's not a super dangerous sport, but it needs to be respected. The water needs to be respected. The weather needs to be respected. And you have to have those skills. You need to match your skills to the types of conditions that you're sailing in. And, sometimes you just got to take down your sails and motor back, and maybe beat the storm. So, again, just a reminder, and please, be careful out there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.